Hi, today is July 21st, 2015. This is Wes Fryer in Olathe, Kansas, and we have just seen two awesome videos by Veritaseum and Getting Smarter Every Day. Those guys that do those YouTube channels, and they've talked about the Coriolis effect. So we're going to learn about the Coriolis effect. The first question that they started with was, what direction does the toilet swirl? And they talked about how some things we've seen on television or read about, indicate that if you're in one hemisphere, you're going to have swirl in one direction and it's going to reverse. And we know this with storms, but what happens with toilets? Well, they talked about how toilet jets, which aren't actual planes, but they're the way the toilet's designed and the way the nozzles or the water comes into the toilet, basically has more of an impact on the direction of the swirl than the hemisphere that you are in. So they set up an experiment, and Dustin was in Huntsville, Alabama, which is at 34 degrees north latitude, and then the other guy, do you remember his name? I don't remember. Derek was at 34 degrees south latitude in Sydney, Australia, and they took a swimming pool and did their experiment. And so what they tried to do, like all good scientists, was eliminate variables, and they did that by making a swimming pool that was as still as possible and by putting food coloring in and having a hole right in the center of the swimming pool and then draining the pool. And so what they found was that in the southern hemisphere, we had rotation that was in a clockwise direction. And they explained that the reason for this, if I can pull out my lightsaber to demonstrate, was because on the outside, the swirl was actually having to move faster. It was going a longer distance because it was on the outside. And so in the inside, it was moving a shorter distance, so it was going slower. Because the outside was moving faster, that caused that swirl because the outside was moving quicker. So that was the explanation. That was the explanation of the Coriolis effect. So in the southern hemisphere, storms, which I don't think are called hurricanes, but they actually spin in a clockwise direction. In the northern hemisphere, where we have typhoons as well as hurricanes, those spin in a counterclockwise direction. And I'm pretty sure that's also the direction that we see our low pressure systems and stuff like that as far as our spin, and that dictates how our weather patterns change and all that stuff across North America where we happen to live.